Hey guys, glad you could join me today. My name is CollegeSportsREVIVED and I welcome you back to the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring the main man Coach Carter as the third season of his Fordham tenure continues to get off the ground. A quick announcement for you guys, I have a little surprise, some extra content coming up soon. With the college basketball season returning this week, I thought it'd be a great time to not only post a Fordham video, but also announce some mini challenges that I want to start doing here in College Hoops 2K8. So I've always done these huge projects on the channel, these long series, but I want to add little one-off videos here on 2K8, challenge videos I'm going to call them, every once in a while for some extra content. I don't want this intro to go too long, so check my comment underneath the video for more information, but I will say this, the first challenge video I'm going to be posting will be a team of 8'99" overalls taking on a team of 5'25" overalls, and I'm going to need some names for the players, so leave some goofy names or just names in general for the players in that challenge in the comments. These videos should be fun, and I've got some awesome ideas for some really interesting challenges and experiments here on 2K8. With that out of the way, let's get episode 25 underway. So we're fresh off the 24th installment of the series where we saw Fordham lose the rematch with Nebraska and again struggle to pull away from an inferior team. But at the end of the day, Fordham does carry a 2-1 record in the episode where we're going to be playing on the road for two tough showdowns against Virginia and Rutgers today. But before we tackle these two tougher games on our out-of-conference slate, we have a recruiting update. As in the middle of all this action, the week-long in-season signing period takes place. So now is the last chance to see where our recruiting battles are shaping up. 5 seniors will be shipping out at season's end, including Preston Murphy, Fabian Swanson, and Evangelo Higgins, who are the top leading scorers on the team through the first 2 episodes of this season. And off the bench, we're going to be losing Corey Terrell and reserve guard Chris Smith, who hasn't really played much in his career. But Coach Carter got to work with these battles the second that year 3 tipped off, and he hasn't looked back after allocating all 5 of the available scholarships ahead of the week-long in-season signing corridor. Number 1 on our board has been Pat Park, and we've been number 1 on his board as well, outpacing teams like Rutgers and Penn State. And we actually face Rutgers later on this episode, so perhaps a win over the Scarlet Knights can really secure Pat Park's services. And he's the 29th ranked prospect in the country, and I try to find Fordham's highest ranked recruit in their real life program's history, but unfortunately 247sports.com's recruiting database is pretty incomplete for the Rams, but I wouldn't be surprised if this kid is the highest ranked recruit ever in Fordham's program. He's an awesome defensive wing, which we desperately need, and he looks like he can score a little bit as well, so Pat Park, we need this kid. Second scholarship is being used by the coach's son. It's Damian Carter. And with A+ potential, a coach's mentality and maturity and crafty playmaking, it's no secret why Damian Carter has been pursued so aggressively by teams like UNC and Virginia. However, in the movie, we found out that coach has never not had Damian on his team before, and perhaps that's why Fordham has soared to the top of the race recently. Damian loves playing for his dad. We just have to beat out Richmond, our conference foe. Martin Beeler was the most productive player on our preseason target board from a stats standpoint, posting 14 points per game on his final ABL season with sky-high efficiency. Beeler has the chance to be the highest overall freshman out of anybody from a rating standpoint, and he would be the perfect plug-and-play guy to get back some of the swing scoring we're losing. We're one of 2 teams 100% locked in for Beeler. It's us and fellow New York school Hofstra, so perhaps it'll take an upset win over Virginia to lock him up. Definitely a tall order, but scoring elite players has always been far from easy, so we're going to have to do the work on the court to try to get Beeler. Timo Cruz has been offered scholarship number 4 as a sharpshooter has almost successfully been pried away from North Carolina in the recruiting race. Coach Carter left a major impact on Timo in a positive way back at Richmond, and Mr. Cruz may want to repay the favor by playing for him in college as well. We could be getting a marksman who's slippery without the ball in his hands, further helping us replenish all the swing scoring that we're going to be losing. And our 5th and final scholarship allotted is 7-footer Lloyd Hicks, who was near the top of the nation in rebounds per game among all high school players. He looks to be a perfect developmental big for years to come, and in shocking fashion, Fordham has actually leapfrogged a couple teams, and we've closed the gap with UAB and UGA. For the other 5 guys we didn't offer on our board, Fordham is 6th for 7-foot JUCO big Jay Feeney. Villanova is running wave with power forward Eugene Reynolds. Playmaking off-guard Shannon Ames is most likely headed to the SEC. Hassan Lane, a 6'4" JUCO guard, has made it known he wants to stay in his home state of Florida. And defensive specialist Evan Kilgore looks like a lock to be headed to Duquesne, our conference rivals. So that's the recruiting update out of the way. I know it was kind of boom, 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 you know, really up pace, upbeat, but I really wanted to get this out of the way so we can head into the meat of the episode. But it's nothing but good news for Fordham. Recruiting has gotten a lot easier and more fruitful for Coach Carter with each passing year here. We'll find out if we secured any future Fordham Rams after this big battle in Charlottesville. How about a tango with the Virginia Cavaliers to truly find out what this team is at? And this is a Cavaliers team that's actually struggled finding themselves after a major injury to their star player on opening night, splitting the 4 games of their season as we head into the matchup preview. And 2 of their losses, 1 of 2, has actually come against our A10 foe, Richmond. And it's been inconsistent offensive performances and the loss of PJ Kruger that have been the main components resulting in UVA's downfall. Kruger, a projected first-round pick in the upcoming NBA draft, is a very special player who creates mismatch problems thanks to his special athletic abilities and shooting touch at 7 feet tall. Without Kruger, it's left a lot of pressure on guys like Miles Fernandez, their leading scorer and best passer. But keep an eye on the top freshman big in the nation, 7-footer Clyde Paul from upstate Pennsylvania. He's been all as advertised, averaging 7 points and 3 blocks the first 4 games of his career. No doubt that Clyde Paul and PJ Kruger will be making the argument for the best front court in the nation whenever Kruger is healthy. This is a squad that can force you into plenty of mistakes and make plenty of shots when they're on. But with how inconsistent they've been to open the season, it's a big if for them at this point. Alright guys, finally wrapping up that intro. Are you still with me? I mean, I know that was a very up-pace and jam-packed intro there, but we're finally here at gameplay and it's great to be back with the Fordham Rams Legacy Mode episode number 25 today. Normally we schedule 1 or 2 of these Power 5 conference opponents out of conference just to see where the team is at. And the only win we have against the Power 5 team is against Nebraska back in Season 2, so we'll see if we can make it win number 2 as Kai Hendry gets the start at point guard today over Dustin Black. Those 2 have been kind of a timeshare for the point guard role, but today it's Hendry who will get the start as Fordham comes up short on their first possession, but not too long after. It is 7-foot, 280-pound freshman Clyde Paul, the #1 freshman center in the nation, who's already making a name for himself and trying his best to extinguish the flames of the lost scoring inside with no PJ Kruger, and he tries to block Fabian Swanson on the follow to no avail. It's Fabian Swanson for the first basket of Fordham side of things here in episode 25, and then a 3-pointer is made. So Fordham, they're enjoying their first lead of the day. Now we see Ace Payton, the Cavs point guard, to Kyle Kuso, but Payton does a great job moving without the ball as Kai Hendry gets caught napping away from the orange. Payton with his first triple. This is a Cavs offense that does have some spurt ability. I mean, they've reached 70 points twice on the season, as this one's off the mark, but right into the hands of Clyde Paul, and it's knocked away by Pennant Pinkala, who records his 4th block of his freshman year, and then Kai Hendry finds a lane. Nice job moving up the floor quick there by the Fordham Rams. This is definitely a Cavs team, like I said, some spurt ability, 70-plus points twice this season, but they've also failed to reach 56-plus twice as well. It's been an inconsistent offense with 2 early losses on the Cavs season, as using his height on the baseline, it's Evangelo Higgins, who now helps Fordham double the Cavs score in the first 5 minutes of the game. Great start for our offense against a pretty tough defensive opponent. 10 minutes to go here. Here's Michael Castillo, the backup point guard, who has his pocket picked. It's Kai Hendry who continues the incredible start on the road by the Fordham Rams. Timeout. Head coach Tony Bennett wants to burn one, as Coach Carter is feeling it, and so are his players. So finally, helping things get back on track a little bit. The next 2 minutes would see 5 unanswered points by the Cavs, 16-12 game now, as Dustin Black, Chen Lee, and Corey Terrell all check in for their first minutes, as Hendry, nice head fake, tries to attack Michael Castillo, but this one's sent back by the 6'4" backup point guard. And then we'll see Channing Callens. He'll find Clyde Paul for his second basket of the first half. 16-14 games. So now the Cavs enjoying a 7-0 run on themselves, As they now things back up at 16 apiece. Bounce pass inside. Corey Terrell. He might have the angle, but he brings a double team. Kai Hendry from 10 feet. And again, Fordham comes up empty as Corey Terrell tries to have a sneaky little cheap steal on the outlet pass, but he gets burned by Castillo as the Cavs take advantage of the overzealous defense there. Now 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Our great start has seemingly come to an end and then some, as how about Fabian Swanson putting the ball on the deck? No good, but it's Corey Terrell fighting inside, and it's yet another block by this Cavs defense. Despite their offensive woes, the Cavs have awesome defenders. They got a couple guys above a steal and a half a game on the year, and also a couple guys above a block per game. So defensively in the stat sheet, these guys know how to light it up as they extend the lead to 7. The run continues. Miles Fernandez, their leading assist man, finds Kyle Kuso on the pick and roll. But check out the freshman here. With a very heads-up play, it's Kaya Hendry who catches Virginia's defense napping. Got to take the easy points when they come. Very high IQ play there as he sets up Higgins for his second basket. And we got it back down to 5 as Hendry finds Higgins on this one, but instead he'll try to bounce past it inside to Pinkala, and on his second attempt, it will fall for the freshman. He's had his hands full with Clyde Paul all day long, but he gets the better of him there as it's knocked away. It's tipped by Kaya Hendry, and then Kyle Kuso tries to save it before he goes back court, but because of the deflection, Kuso cannot stop his momentum, and it's a turnover for Virginia. It's another one here in the first half. That has been their Achilles heel here. It's a great heads-up play there by Hendry as now Dustin Black checks in for him. And running the pick and roll is the sophomore Black as he finds the senior. Underclassman to upperclassman. Swanson with 8 points as we head to the half, tied 27 apiece. Swanson's been looking to get it going. He had 24 points in the season opener, but then only 15 combined in his last 2 games as he puts his shoulder into the inferior defender, but helping out on the weak side is Clyde Paul. He almost takes it away as well. Kai Hendry finds the loose change, and nobody steps out on him. What a start here in the second half. Kaya Hendry with the hustle, getting the ball that was tipped away from Swanson, and then taking it back out, trying to reset the offense, and hey, he had nobody on him, so he took advantage. Kaya Hendry had a 22-point performance last episode off the bench, and he's looking to stay hot as Preston Murphy leaves Clyde Paul in the dust to extend the lead to 4. Our big 4, Swanson, Hendry, Murphy, and Higgins, all above double-digit points per game through the first 3 games of the season, as now Swanson wants to try it. No good, but Corey Terrell, who's played some big minutes off the bench in his senior year, has his second basket, and now Fordham is back out on top. But our big 4, all playing well so far here against UVA as the turnaround jumper goes for Will Briggs, the 6'6" freshman from Yonkers, who has barely played since the first half because of some foul trouble. But now we see Clyde Paul taking the lead at the free throw line, only making 1 for 2 though, so now 38-37 as Fordham looks to push it. Bounce pass inside, Murphy, nicely done on the secondary break as Murph now up to 10 points on the year. He's averaged 11 and 3, so tied for second with Hendry in points, and he's also our leading assist man. So Murphy, despite going back to the 2 guard this year, his year playing point guard last year has really rubbed off on him. He's still finding his teammates at a high level as he leaves open Kyle Kuso for just a second. Kuso, who struggled today, finally gets the 3 that they've been in search of. UVA, a little struggle, kind of struggling from behind the line, but they've given themselves a chance here to get back in the game and weather the storm as Fordham was really hot here to open up the second half. But look at this possession. Great ball movement against the Cavs zone, and they completely forgot to try to cut off the baseline as Dustin Black skates by multiple Cavs defenders to get 2 huge points. We will dwindle this clock now under 4 minutes. A huge upset is on the line, and Fordham has played like they belong today. No good there. The free throw is off by Kaya Hendry, but we've shot a really good percentage from the line today, so a miss was bound to happen. Now we got to try to play some defense, and it's beautiful defense inside by Swanson and Pinkala. But Clyde Paul with now 11 points and 9 rebounds zones in on a double-double, but Evangelo Higgins wants those 2 points right back. Great job. The head fake, the crossover, the body control, all of the above, checking every box of Evangelo Higgins on this beautiful drive. He had some big points in one of his best career games last episode against Bethune-Cookman, where he almost had a double-double, and he's doing the same tonight. Great impact today from Higgins. 51-49, looking for the lead out of the timeout. No good though, as the Cavs cannot take the lead. It's Hendry who thought about it from three-point land, but he will give it up to Dustin Black, who we will speed up the action a little bit here. 20 seconds to go as we try to milk the clock a little bit. Walking the dog is Fordham as Hendry pick and pop. Inside to Swanson, we want the post up. Double team comes, kick out. Higgins looking for the dagger, he got it! He got it. Evangelo Higgins continues to light it up in the second halves of these games. The only game where he struggled in is against Nebraska last episode, where he was dealing with foul trouble. Outside of that, Evo's been playing like a star here in his senior year. 54-49. Miles Fernandez trying to go back and forth as it's swung around to Ace Payton. He has the baseline. And it's a charge! Ace Payton out of control as it's Bennett Pincala, the freshman stud big man, stepping in and taking a monumental charge. Bennett Pincala, the team leader in rebounds and hustle points. He takes one of the biggest charges of his young basketball career. As your Rams have upset in their sights. Under 2 minutes to play, it is a 5-point advantage. Ace Payton is open, but this one way off to the right, as the Cavs have really struggled from behind the line here in the second half. 1:41 left to go. The mismatch inside. Bennett Pincala over his right shoulder. He has points 7 and 8 to extend the lead to 7. And I guess I got a little excited there, shaking the control a little too hard, because Fordham has the biggest win in Coach Carter's history here. His 2.5-year history. Yes, Coach Carter secures his biggest win. And to do this right before the recruiting signing period is going to be huge for us moving forward. Evangelo Higgins is your player of the game. What a game it was. 15 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, and a huge 3 to really put the nail in the coffin. Higgins is your player of the game, with Murphy not too far behind him. 17 for the sharpshooter. Kai Hendry also made some plays there. It was really Hendry in the first half, and then Dustin Black in the second half. They kind of played off each other well. Swanson turned it around a little bit, but he struggled a little bit in the second half. But it was all good because Corey Terrell played awesome, 5 and 5. And then how about Bennett Pincala? One of the biggest defensive plays that'll probably be on the entire season with that charge, and just out-dueling Clyde Paul there down the stretch. Yeah, Clyde Paul may have had the double-double, but Bennett Pincala surely held his own with the top freshman in the nation. And I'm sure that's got to mean a lot for a guy who was only a 3-star recruit. Nicely done, Pincala. So, Fordham now with 3 wins on the year, travel to Chicago to battle the Loyola Ramblers. Known for Sister Jean and their miraculous tournament runs recently, they don't have the same team here in the legacy mode as they do in real life, but they still give us a run for our money. As we head to simulating for the first time this episode. They kept it a single-digit game from pretty much buzzer to buzzer, but the Rams sneak out a 72-65 win. Our 3 players who scored in double figures against Virginia do it again against the Ramblers, feeling high and mighty off our upset win. We now have 3 wins in a row, but they weren't the only ones above 10 points. Sophomore Big Chen Lee with a new career high of 10. One more game to simulate, back at home against probably the best team in the MAC this year, the 4-2 Buffalo Bulls. And after a tough loss to Dayton, Buffalo has won 4 straight with some very impressive scoring totals. So this is an offense that started to find their groove as they traveled to our humble abode, the Rose Hill Gym. And the Bulls turned this one into a nail-biter. They gave us all we could handle, and they had a great chance to win the game. And did they? Well, let's see. Drum roll, please. And Buffalo did not. It took a 7-point comeback, but the Rams survived the upset as Swanson was the X factor, dropping a line of 17-9 and 2 steals. A 1-point game against the Buffalo Bulls. Preston Murphy struggled a bit, but Kai Hendry's new career high in assists really helped out, while Corey Terrell and Dustin Black enjoyed some huge bench minutes. So it's been nothing but good news for the Fordham Rams here in episode 25. The win streak is now at 4, beating some very quality teams recently. On the floor, we've been hot, and we'll see if it translates off the floor for Ken Carter and his coaching staff. That is correct. We've reached the 1-week-long corridor where high school recruits have their choice to commit to a college in season or elect to defer their decision to the off season. And the only real news that's changed since the target board update at the beginning of the episode comes in the form of our third target, scoring wing Martin Bieler. This is a shocking turn of events, but despite the longest winning streak of Coach Carter's tenure here and a win against Virginia, Hofstra has actually jumped Fordham to become the favorites to land the 6'6 guard. Now this doesn't guarantee he picks Hofstra over us. We were 100% locked first, but it's a mystery as to why this change occurred so late in the race. I mean, we narrowly edged out Hofstra to get to 100% locked first, yet they've jumped us. We're gonna have to see what implications this has as we finally arrive at the long anticipated signing period, as it's now officially underway. First news is from a former player, not Damian or Timo Cruz, however it's Jason Lyle commits to NC State. As you guys know, I was aiming to make every former player from the movie a 3 or 4 star recruit, but the problem is the game doesn't let you see a recruits overall while you're creating them, and I majorly overshot the 3-star caliber I was aiming for Jason Lyle. Big news though, the first commit comes to light. Welcome to the Bronx, Pat Park, who may be in line to start day 1. An awesome way to start off our recruiting class. I picture an awesome 3-and-D player who will be able to control the wings with his defense, and with our perimeter defense being such a weakness throughout this series, Pat Park scratches off a huge need for Fordham. Pat Park doesn't appear to be a one-dimensional player either. He has C+ handle and a B- pass, showing the foundation of what could become a very complete player. And the next batch of news is something we expected. Shannon Ames, the point guard in the shooting guard's body, will be playing in Athens to begin his college career. Really liked his point forward archetype, but we entered the race a little too late for Ames, and it was also clear he wanted to stay at least remotely close to home in Florida. We'll keep it in the backcourt for the next headline. Damian Carter elects to continue the trend of playing for his dad. He will play for him in college as well. What a decision, what a commitment. This is something I never thought would happen. With the amount of power programs calling his name in the preseason, I thought for sure Damian would be playing somewhere else away from his dad, but he comes around right as the signing period begins. He has the slashing, the playmaking, the athleticism. He's a coach on the floor. Damian has the potential to be an awesome hardwood general. And you gotta think Kai Hendry's playstyle can mesh really well with a guy who sees the floor as well as Damian. That sounds like a scary backcourt to me. Now for the first shocker that we receive. It's Martin Bieler. He'll be playing at Hofstra. Oh man, what happened, Martin? It couldn't have been the team's performance that turned him away. I mean, we've been on such a hot streak. It couldn't have been the playing time. We would have been splitting time with him with Pat Park at small forward next year. It's a mystery as to how Hofstra jumped us when we got to 100% locked on Bieler first, but one of the nation's top scorers elects to go the mid-major route as the Hofstra Pride lock up one of the highest rated recruits in program history. Hassan Lane is now a UCF Golden Knight, not exactly a shocker there. He was staying in his home state for sure. And Evan Kilgore, an underrated recruit that makes his money being the hardest worker on the floor, will join the A-10. Heading out to Philly next fall, Duquesne got themselves a high motor and high character kid in Kilgore. We'll see if he carves out a role within the conference. So that's all the news I have for now. 2 commits in Pat Park and Damian Carter. 2 more 4 stars to already beat Season 2's class that just had 1. But the 4 remaining targets who have decided to defer their decisions to the summer. 7-footer Lloyd Hicks, Timo Cruz, the former player, 7-foot JUCO Big J Feeney, and 3-star Eugene Reynolds, who's a lock for Villanova. Man, this really sucks. This is the one bad part about commits in the season. You can't see their overalls until the off season, so it's a bit of torture, but we'll have to wait on guys like Pat Park and Damian Carter to see what overalls they are. One more game to simulate within the signing period. It's a tune-up game against the 1-6 Vermont Catamounts. No reason why the winning streak should end here, and it's a double-digit home victory where the little offense we put up was more than enough. Preston Murphy had almost half our points on the outing, 24, 3 steals, and 12 made free throws. Outside of him, no starter was that impressive from a scoring standpoint, but 10 team steals and 3 blocks will always make a coach happy. And Corey Terrell again finding his stride, 8-5 and 2 thefts, as the senior again played great. And as we board the bus to New Jersey to battle our second Power 5 team of the episode, one final little nugget of news in recruiting. Eugene Reynolds announces his commitment right before the time runs out in the season. I like Reynolds a lot, but unfortunately by the time I started using some points on him to find that out, Villanova had already soared out to a big lead already. Alright guys, it's time. No more recruiting news, all about basketball from here on out. Can we do it again? Rutgers, now hosting the 6-1 Fordham Rams. The Scarlet Knights have enjoyed a pretty solid start to their season as well. However, it's not been all that difficult of a schedule away from the Big East, but the Knights are still taking care of business. They are fresh off their only loss this season though, a 19-point defeat to the former back-to-back champions in this legacy mode, Georgia Tech. Rutgers actually had one of the best big men in the country last year. I think his name was Denzel Coleman, if I remember correctly. He won some national awards. If you go back to the year 2 offseason video, you'll see him make an appearance. I think he won Big Man of the Year in the NCAA. But he's gone now, he graduated. So Rutgers is now trying to find a way to fill in for the lost production. They also have the former Mr. Basketball Award winner for the state of Connecticut, a 6'9" sophomore named Cristano Faring, who was considering Fordham in Season 1's recruiting races, but chose Rutgers over us. So I hope he sees what we're building here. Year 1's recruiting was a nightmare, and him committing to Rutgers over us was one of the reasons why. So we'll see if we see a lot of Cristano in this game. Time to find out as we hop in. So the Fordham Rams in search of their 5th straight win, while Rutgers is trying to avoid a losing streak. Aaron Hoskins out of the gates. The Rutgers point guard to no avail there as Kai Hendry, who's looked almost impossible to stop on fast breaks. This episode continues that trend and begins the game on a high note. Now we grab a steal in our full court press, and we're off to a nice start here. Rutgers, 2 of their biggest weaknesses have been turnovers and rebounding as they take things back over here. Dontrell Riley has a shot blocked. It's Preston Murphy. Up ahead to Murphy now as he tries to look for some assistance. Bounce pass. It's Swanson. Great feed there by Preston Murphy running the break. Murphy is by far leading our team in assists. Like I said, he made the move back to shooting guard this year, yet he still has the vision thanks to that year of point guard he played last year. Shot clock dwindling now as Higgins jab step to the 3. It's another great start for Fordham. Just like the UVA game, they're firing on all cylinders here to begin this one here in the rack. Over to Bernie Acosta, the leading scorer for the Scarlet Knights as he dribbles into trouble. It's picked up by Hendry. Bounce pass. Murphy sets and fires, no good, but it's ripped down by Swanson. Puts a shoulder into Dontrell Riley. That's too easy for the senior timeout. Scarlet Knights as the Fordham Rams open up a 12-4 lead here in the early goings. Now it's 14-9 as we almost turn it over here as Rutgers switches it up to a zone as Higgins is forced into a bad shot here. Robert Tillman, the leading shot blocker for the Scarlet Knights, actually taking up the ball as he kicks it out to Riley. That is Dontrell Riley, who's tied with the point guard Aaron Hoskins with 9 threes on the year. They're 2 top 3-point threats on the court together right now as Montgomery feeds AJ May inside, but the layup is off. Chen Lee grabs his second board. And again, looking for some early offense is Fordham, slicing down the lane, right between the eyes. It's one of the hotter players on the team. It is Corey Terrell, who's coming off of some pretty impressive games in the simulating period of this episode. So now 18-12 as the Rutgers Scarlet Knights still trying to get over the slump as here comes Vic Caldwell off the timeouts. Some big shoes to fill for Vic Caldwell, a 6'10" sophomore from Brooklyn, but a big dunk there as he tries to replace the scoring loss by Big Man of the Year who graduated, Denzel Coleman. 20-14, 6 minutes to go. Good ball movement on this possession as Dustin Black has the mismatch. Bernie Acosta checks him while Fabian Swanson has the mismatch. Jimmy Montgomery tries to check him inside, so that'll be too easy as we take advantage of the mismatch. And then another Rutgers turnover. Swanson then, as he gives it back to Kai Hendry on the give and go, it's back up to a double-digit lead. Rutgers again down by 10 for the second time today. Again, it's Fordham with an awesome start. Jimmy Montgomery now the backup point guard as he scans, surveys, gives it up to Dontrell Riley. Nice pass inside, cutting right down the paint. It's Vic Caldwell who looks to get things going as this time it is Bennett Pincala who can't get in the way. So we're going to head to halftime now. Fordham again doing the work here in the first half, just like they did against the UVA, and they were able to kill the clock from then on out against UVA. We'll see if that's what's in store for us as well today. Doing a great job rebounding, hitting our free throws, and playing through the guys who have been hot for us this season. As we begin, we see Robert Coleman at the free throw line, but it's Vic Caldwell raising the roof here at the rack, up to 13 points as he becomes the game's top leading scorer. As the Rutgers Scarlet Knights get things back down to 5, but what a combination of moves there by Kai Hendry. Man, when he gets a head full of steam and gets downhill, he is a tough guy to stop. And now he's in double figures as well. 11:30 left to go. Fordham again thinking upset. They're playing with some pretty good competition here. And they've been leading for pretty much the entire game as this one's swatted by Preston Murphy. AJ May, the third leading scorer on Rutgers, tries to go baseline. It ends in a three-pointer on the other end. It is Kai Hendry with a baker's dozen as he ties Caldwell for the game's leading score, 13 apiece. It's 41-34. The Rams offense looking the best they have all season long, but AJ May with the response as he tries to get over this cold spell. As AJ May finally on the board. 8.5 points average on the year so far for the 6'7" junior, but he's been really sucking wind today. Now up by 6. Offense like a well-oiled machine today. Kai Hendry, what a dump down pass to Bennett Pinkala. It's another highlight play for the Rams. Kai Hendry showing that he can facilitate as well. He's not just a combo guard. He can flash some of his vision as well, as Pinkala doing a great job just finding his shots in the flow of the offense as the freshman continues to not try to do too much. Back up to an 8-point game. Rutgers playing from behind pretty much the entirety of the contest tonight. 2-3 zone. We get it to the high post as Pinkala looks for a teammate, and now he must be inspired by Kai Hendry's flashy playmaking as Pinkala goes nutmeg behind the back, dish inside. Corey Terrell finishes off the highlight play to push it again to 10 points. As the Fordham bench loving what they see. The team play has been superb, and the team rapport has been even better. And I think that's a great way to end it off as Fordham, for the second time today, plays the upset role. 59-50 as Fordham extends the win streak to 5. I cannot believe what I'm saying is true, but it is. Oh my goodness. 17 points for Hendry as he was a star in the second half. He took over this game. Higgins with 14, Swanson with 12 as the big three continues to shine through. Murphy 0 for 4, but 2 assists and 2 blocks. He's played awesome defense. Bennett Pinkala 3 steals and again Flitter with a double-double. Dustin Black had some big minutes. So did Corey Terrell. Honestly, pretty much everybody who went out there contributed in some type of fashion, some type of way. And Fordham built that big lead in the first half, and Rutgers had to play catch-up from then on out. They got terrible shooting days from 2 of their starters, and AJ May off the bench also struggled as well. They just did not have the rebounding. Outside of Vic Caldwell, nobody was crashing the glass, and they also struggled mightily from 3. So the perimeter shooting and the rebounding have been the main focal points for Coach Carter during this win streak. And it's been awesome to see that combined with our big 4, Swanson, Higgins, Murphy, and Kai Hendry all doing their part to play big minutes and coast to a 5-game winning streak. And we have some big games next episode, including Drexel, who might be the toughest out-of-conference team we've played outside of Virginia. And then we also end off out-of-conference play against East Carolina, another quality opponent. So even next episode, the quality teams do not end here as we wrap up out-of-conference play next time out. But how about a 5-game win streak for Coach Carter and his boys, the longest in his tenure here at Fordham, the longest win streak I should say. And it's been a lot of fun. If you guys outlasted all the losing and all the sadness and heartbreak through the first 2 seasons of this rebuild, you are definitely getting your money's worth here in season 3, and it's got to feel so sweet to hang around this team during the bad times and enjoy the good ones. Fordham now 6-1, or rather 7-1 now, as things looking up here in season 3. So I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel today. Gotta love what you're seeing from this Coach Carter-led team as Fordham secures 2 4-stars today and grabs 5 straight wins to improve to 7-1. And next time you see us, we will be wrapping up the out-of-conference slate 2 episodes from now, starting in the conference. So a lot of big things coming, a lot of big games being played over the next coming weeks. We'll see how the Fordham Rams handle it. Can they stay hot, or is just all this just a placebo? We'll find out next episode. Stay tuned for that, guys, here on College Sports Revived. See you guys later. Have a great night.